and welcome to What the Fiction. You haven't seen that all, hey?
No, that was adorable. Oh, you're so good. People are going to be so... Anyone showing up late needs to catch the replay because that was just delightful.
Yeah, I actually posted it to Twitter because I was like, I'm so proud of this. I've been working for like a month on like this little animation. I had this crazy idea instead of going for, I don't know, the, amazing animation that David Brady did, that I could do my own little animation, and I love it so much.
I can't believe how much work you put into that. That's like 20 hours worth of work and development and creation. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, I actually have like all the little GIFs too, so if anyone is interested in that, I can start to tweet them out and give them out to people, like Winter Soldier running and
little prizes to things.
No, just like tweeting them out.
No, getting them at all as a prize. That was phenomenal.
I had a lot of fun creating it. Because to me, like, although this show is coming from an MCU angle, it felt very like video game adventure-y when I saw the commercial, and I thought, oh man, that would be really, really great to.
I agree.
Give.
You've done some phenomenal work there. So hello and welcome to What the Fiction presents The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Why isn't it The Winter Soldier? Just Falcon and Winter Soldier.
No, it's The Winter Soldier.
There's Falcon and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
There's two Thes, and actually they have it, like the hashtag has it both ways. Falcon and Winter Soldier, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They're both there, yeah.
I don't know which one I like more.
I'm Marie Claire Gould.
I'm Kyle Gould.
Yeah. And we're continuing our MCU coverage because we had so much fun with WandaVision. But before we get things started...
Yeah, I hope you've seen the episode because we're going to dig deep.
Let's get our drinks because we're gonna do drinks. But this one is actually, whenever there's something directly in the episode, I think we'll try to grab it, and we were actually able to find this, which was so great. So during Bucky's date with Leah, he actually she's like, I'm gonna go get some more beers, and he's like 4 deep already into drinking beers, and you can actually see it. I'll point it out when we get to the slides.
So it's time for some Tiger.
We are not sponsored by Tiger, but we
take that for a second.
We wanted to try them because he drank like 6 of them.
Yeah, he's in a... Yeah. They were in like a Asian fusion restaurant for lunch. And of course, they all have like the Asahis and the Kirins and the...
Well, they were having sake definitely when they were...
During that.
During
but they also,
lunch.
because it's an Asian fusion, they have this. I think it's a Shanghai.
All right. Is it?
Yeah, it's... I think I read that somewhere. It's an Asian lager is what it's called. It's born in Singapore. Yeah, Singapore. And which is nowhere near Shanghai. But nonetheless.
Like they were having sushi, so I would have expected like an Asahi or a, Sapporo.
Or a Kirin. But instead, they had a Tiger. And it's really weird because he calls to it at one point. He's like, yeah, I've tried Tinder. So many pictures of tigers. Which is what he's drinking at the time, so it seems like he's just literally looking for something to say.
He was making it up, yeah. Like that's. He was like, "There's like people with tiger." Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, we actually have to open them. They're not like.
Yeah, they are. Well, they're import beer, and you cannot twist off an import beer.
No,
it's not possible.
So is this like a clink moment or a chin chin?
As we drink our very first sip of the tropical brewed lager. So it's a tropical lagering process. It's uniquely fresh and full bodied. We've never had it, so see if it's something we enjoy. Chin chin, cheers to you. Let's dig into another Saturday afternoon of meta-analysis.
Deep dive discussion. Welcome. You know what it reminds me of?
Very hoppy.
Yeah, we had beer. Did we buy beer when we were down in the Caribbean?
Yep.
Yeah, it reminds me of that.
It reminds me of the beer that we got in Providenciales.
Yeah.
That was a good beer. Yeah. They had 2 different beers. They had like a lager, which is like this, and then they had a cream, which was quite nice too.
Award-winning.
Anyway, I hope you're drinking. I don't know if you're drinking Tigers out there. Next week, we'll have much more of a bro type beverage, but this is right from the show, so why not pull it right in and try it ourselves?
Exactly.
So, it is actually available at like every single liquor store that you can possibly imagine and find.
It's really
a common,
popular.
Regular beer.
Yeah.
So there you go. Right
awesome.
from Singer. I wonder if they drink it in the Crazy Rich Asians. I wonder if they drink it anytime in that.
I mean,
because they're in Singapore for like half the movie.
It's probably like one of those things that's like super exported, but not drunk locally.
Oh, maybe. Or maybe they drink it a ton there too.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Anyways, welcome to everyone who has joined us. Thanks for hanging on and joining us from WandaVision. If you're new to the show, we talk about the show kind of in a different way, I would say, than maybe some people. We do point out Easter eggs when we see them and certainly parallels to other MCU properties, but we like to talk about the themes as they're presented, as well as some of the deeper elements of the show. WandaVision gave us so much food to eat on. It was like
a 5-course meal in 27 minutes.
Yeah, this is more like pub food. It's very on the surface. There isn't that much complexity.
Yeah, you kind of eat this while doing something else.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. That's okay though. I think for this episode, when the director Carrie Skoglund said, "This is a 6-part movie, broken into 3 acts," I'm like, okay, how is that going to play out? And it played out exactly the way I thought it was. I'm like, this is the first 20 minutes of a movie. Like, it's literally...
Well, I was thinking about it too, and they call it The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And this is really, like, they get people in a 2-hour movie. They get those 2 characters tight and, like, together real quick. That did not happen.
Yeah, no, this is all just set up. It's all just...
Right now we're getting 2 different stories.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of the beginning of Infinity War, when everybody's kind of separate and the attacks are happening and nobody's really together, and we're just kind of getting these separate storylines. And I guess that's okay. I just kind of wanted more, and I feel like maybe this show...
More how? What do you mean by more?
I wanted more of the story. I wanted them to be together because I think that their chemistry is better. And I know that this is all set up and we're kind of just waiting for it to happen. I think that this show, depending on how it goes, might be incredibly good just binged, right? Because then there won't be any delays between the different action and acts.
Yeah, it's your
of the story.
Epic 6-hour tale.
Yeah. A lot of people...
the Snyder cut of Captain America. Sidekicks.
A lot of people compared it to 24 because it kind of felt like that. Like in that, these are the side plots. And then the next episode will pick up exactly
I think that
where
might
it left
be the
off.
case for those, because a lot of those people who are talking about it have seen more than just the first episode.
I mean... The critics that I read were only allowed to see the first episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because this doesn't feel like 24 at all. 24 had that, like, oh my God, the clock is counting down.
No, I like the first episode of 24 when they were doing all the setup and then it got into the danger and stuff like that. So I just think that it just feels like real time.
That's going back like 15 years.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
24 is such a... Okay, you know what? It does feel like an action thriller in that we have this action thriller start, and it starts with a slow burn because they don't want to put out the kindling, right? You need to be able to have the bigger logs catch.
Oh yeah, and all of the character development moments of this episode were amazing.
Yeah,
personally, I read a lot of articles about how the action felt very bland.
But those people are
like
jerks. Those people can't appreciate cinema anymore because they're just so jaded.
I know.
Rolling Stone, how dare you?
Yeah.
I'll call you out, Rolling Stone. Write terrible articles from your terribly plebeian attitude. Ugh. This coming from somebody who collected every month of Rolling Stone for 7 years, from the time I was 16 until I was 23.
That's a lot of Rolling Stone.
That's a lot of Rolling Stone. And I used to quite appreciate it, but I think it's a bit too juvenile for my own vantage point. I like to perceive the world through a bit of a nicer lens than Rolling Stone tries to offer. They're still too edgy.
Yes. I think they did. I liked the action. I thought it would.
Great.
I thought it did what it needed to do. So let's.
2 action scenes in this film.
I know.
And I thought that was a really good number. And both of them were kind of shocking and surprising in its own way. We were going to talk a little bit about the themes of the show, a little bit about how we felt overall about it to begin with. Yeah,
like just so that it's easier to point those out when we kind of spot them. For me, I mean, the biggest obvious one was Sam feeling like the mantle of Captain America and that responsibility that goes with that mantle and that symbolism. Yeah. He didn't feel worthy of it. He also doesn't feel like he's going to be accepted as it. And there's a whole bunch of like imposter syndrome stuff that's happening from Sam's perspective.
For both. That worthiness.
Oh, yeah, that worthiness.
Am I worthy of redemption? Am I worthy of
happiness? Am I worthy to just like be able to be the hero that like the world needs? Yeah.
God. I mean, Sam definitely feels worthy enough to do the things that he's good at doing. But I don't think the Winter Soldier feels like he has a place to do the things he's good at doing.
Yeah.
So that's really rough there. But outside of doing the things that he's good at doing, Sam can't fit in. Like he's like, no, I'm good at this. I've got this. And they showed how good and how got this he is in every single aspect of his character, from tech stuff to speaking Arabic to then crunching all the numbers. And it looked legit. He's helping with the lunch, and he's like, oh, that line of like, it seems so much like my dad. He's like, we better leave because you're never on time. There's either early or late. There's never on time. I'm like, yeah, there is. There's on time. Who are you? I don't like you. I don't like that attitude. Time is circular. It doesn't exist. So can we just get on?
It's all relative. And then, you know, from Bucky's perspective, amends being very powerful to, and like this is redemption, truthfully redemption and restoration.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was an incredibly powerful piece that, although, you know, and we'll get into it, it's government mandated, so he can avoid prison / probably the death penalty. Yeah. It is, you know, it's kind of wonderful to see it kind of play out in a show, like where he's trying to make amends for the past shadows of the things that he can't do. And we'll dig into that too.
So in some ways, it seems to me like the Winter Soldier, the first step for him is he has to forgive himself. I don't think he's capable of asking for forgiveness from the people he really actually needs to ask forgiveness from.
Yeah.
He can't ask that question because he hasn't forgiven himself yet.
And he knows, I think part of what was delaying him from forgiving himself too was the fact that Steve instantly forgave him. You know, like he's like, no, you're my buddy, you're my friend, you're my
buck.
You're my buck. And he never felt that way, and it has to come from inside. And this is part of how you work through all of that shadow baggage that you have, because he remembers doing all of these things. Yeah, obviously. And this is maybe the first time that, except for in Civil War, which we saw the video of and we saw the flashbacks to, that we actually saw this from his perspective too, which I felt was incredibly powerful. And he's a baby and I love him. So
Megan Bell has said that Bucky is going to make me cry so hard this season. I know. Well, I already have. I literally cried at one point.
I did not cry this show,
but you don't. You're sand.
WandaVision made me
inside. That's
cry.
True.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, you get sand wet enough, it eventually will drip through. But nonetheless, I cried and I laughed out loud twice. I unexpectedly laughed out loud twice, and all of that was during the Winter Soldier's storyline.
Yeah, he's so funny.
I liked the Falcon's storyline.
Yeah.
I don't know how well executed the Falcon's storyline was in this, and I feel like it got muddled with some of the back and forth that was going on.
Yeah, because they cut, but like, because in my brain, after I watched the first run through of it. They were like very cohesive stories when I remembered it. But then when I went back and watched them, like we're jumping all over the place. And maybe that's harder for people to follow, and you're not really staying in the moment with, and maybe it's like, oh, this got serious. Jump to the next person. Yeah. Jump to cute Bucky, 104-year-old man going on dates. Like, yeah.
The Bucky storyline was wonderful throughout, and the Falcon storyline was a bit muddled, especially for what I feel like they might have been trying to tell us during the Falcon's storyline.
Okay, so then we'll get into that.
Yeah, things to have looked for was they're still trying to make the blip relevant. And that is really core to the storyline that's happening for Falcon. But they're telling other stories as well at the same time with Falcon, and it gets lost in the shuffle. And then the blip seems to come off as this like callous element as well. And I'm like, is that really how the world's feeling a few months later after all these billions of people returned?
I think I read somewhere that it was 6 months, that it's been months, right? So this, I mean, it kind of works that it's after WandaVision, because WandaVision is like a month after by the end.
Weeks, yeah.
Yeah, it's not even yeah.
The whole context of WandaVision is like a week.
Yeah, exactly. It was one really bad, terrible week. So I like that this is further down, like away from the blip, but
people are still dealing with it, and then they're dealing with it really weird. And I want to dig into that too, because I have some things I really want to say about it.
Yeah. Okay. No, I agree.
I don't want to rant about anything that happened in the Falcon, in the Winter Soldier story. It's all Falcon related stuff, but not like the character.
No, not the character. It's all like just weird stuff around the world and the choices that were made. I agree. Yeah, like it's not about that.
Stick around, folks. I'm gonna get heated.
Oh, okay. Oh, do I time box you? Like, do I say?
I mean, okay, maybe. I don't think I'll go too
and
long.
then Sam saying, "Oh, when things get better for one group, they usually get worse for another." Oh, Sam. That's a very like nihilistic type view, and it's very odd. And I was like, don't you have the hope that you can try and make things better for all people? Mm-hmm. It was weird. I know it's probably realistic, but it struck me as such an odd statement for him. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, let's dig into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This title bugged the hell out of our son.
Oh yeah.
he was like, why is the in Winter Soldier not bolded?
Yeah. Yeah. Really? That's weird.
It was odd, and he like pointed it out. Both kids loved the episode.
That's neat. I didn't even notice the weird bolding and font choice coloration.
He's going to be a graphics designer.
Yeah, he really will be. Yeah.
Just one of those things. Yeah.
So before we jump into it, because I want to leave this at the top.
Okay.
Something I noticed while I was reading all of it is there's a special thanks to Mark Gruenwald.
Oh.
In this episode.
Okay.
And I noticed it for the first time. And I was like, well, who are you, Mark Gruenwald, that you would get a thanks at the end of this? Hi, what have you done, Mr. Gruenwald?
What have you done lately?
Mr. Gruenwald passed away in 1996. Aww. He was a seminal creator of Captain America. He was hired by Marvel in 1978, the year I was born, and he was there for 18 years, the entirety of his career. He created Ultimate Captain America, who is by far and large one of my favorite Captain Americas of all, and he is one of the advancing people of the Captain America storyline and bringing him back and creating him in a place in the modern day that had such a connection for people who are so disassociated from wars, but they're still picking up that Captain America book each and every week. So, at the end of every single thing that has anything to do with Captain America at all, they thank Mark Gruenwald.
Oh, so cheers to Mark Gruenwald.
So, sorry for our loss, because I don't doubt he had many other stories in him. But that's why you see that name, Mark Gruenwald, come up.
It's kind of like the Stan Lee
every single thing.
thing.
Yeah, in some ways, but it's more subtle because like so many of these characters have such a rich and storied history to draw from to create new stories of. He is one of those. I mean, 1978 to 96 he's largely responsible for the resurrection of Captain America. And I'm glad that that's something that I finally noticed and caught on to, because that's pretty special.
It is pretty special.
I want to read more of his stuff.
So when we start out the show, we have just this very quick scene of Sam looking at the shield. And Anthony Mackie in this is just absolutely charming and touching and wonderful, as like, because when in the press tours and stuff, he comes off as this like massive goofball. It's just really, really nice to see him act the hell out of this whole thing.
Putting on a jacket?
Just, I mean, yeah, but like it's it's like the little micro expressions of his face, and like putting the shield into the like really old holder.
That's one of my notes on here.
Oh, really?
Like, a vibranium shield has a protective leather bag.
You can't see your.
I know. I can't. I did this so you couldn't see it. A protective leather bag for a vibranium.
I know. It's just to protect the paint. That's all. It's just to protect the paint. The vibranium shield would be fine. The only thing that could destroy it was Thanos, so it'll be fine. It's just
I mean, the vibranium causes scratch.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yes, it's like diamond on diamonds. Yeah. Yes, I know. But it's just to protect the candy coating.
It just seemed weird.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, no,
I have to put it in a bag to carry it on a plane. I mean,
but I thought that was very much indicative of like remembering Captain America, because that old leather feel to the shield, like around the shield. It's like, it was like, I'm putting this away. This belongs to Steve. This doesn't belong to me.
I'm not doubting the fact that it exists and that it has a predication in previous movies. I know it's there. It just seems so weird that the shield needs its own protective bag.
Apparently it was the one that that Steve brought him.
Steve gave him. They're always good at tying those things in. That's fine. That's fair. Why is there a bag at all?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's so random. Anyways, people get like really caught up on the how did the shield come back? It's like, I don't care. I don't care. It's not important. The symbol of the shield coming to Sam and him rejecting that is the important part of this moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. And then we have our adventure, which, I mean, theoretically happened before he got dressed, and they decided to, show. I thought that was a little bit of an odd choice, personally, but
I didn't notice it at all.
I didn't notice it. It was just, flashback
tying
stuff.
Things to Cap.
Yeah, it was good. And this was a perfect
He could have been getting ready for the funeral, but it wasn't the funeral yet.
No. This was him getting ready to go to the Smithsonian. That was entirely it. He's going to DC. He's going to the Smithsonian. Suit. Yeah.
He doesn't have very many suits, but yeah, you're right.
So we have the group LAF that takes advantage of situations.
Oh my God. I hear that and I just want to laugh. Like, they never explain what LAF stands for.
I don't think they need to.
These are bad guys, and therefore we have to give them an acronym because that relates to so many people who call so many other bad guys by acronyms. Let's call them LAF and not explain it, and that'll make it seem mysterious and therefore bad. Come on.
It's fine. It's fine. I like that we got like a nice cool screen with all the people that are involved and like this is the mission outputs, and he's like looking. I liked all of that. Everything was beautifully shot.
It was gorgeous. It had a story of its own, and this is why they brought in Carrie Skoglund, is because she has vision when it comes to these sorts of action-oriented set pieces, and it was phenomenal. But was it written well? Do we have any understanding as to why this happened? Or what's going on?
Is it important?
Captain Vassant has been kidnapped by LAF. Who's Captain Vassant? Why is he there at all? Well, we're flying out of Tunisian airspace, and that plane you're looking at there is a U.S. Army plane, which shouldn't be there anyway, because there is no U.S. Army base in Tunisia.
Keep your hands. Keep your hands. It's fine. I whenever I hear Tunisia, I think of Tatooine. So I was like, they're invading Star Wars. Yes. Okay, so this is all, again, Batroc.
Yeah, why didn't they just say Batroc? They could have easily told us more.
I know. That would have said so much more.
With LAF. We don't know that Batroc is with LAF.
So,
what is...
But Georges, I don't think I'm pronouncing that correct because it's a French name.
It's
Georges
Batroc.
Batroc,
yeah.
Who is previously was affiliated with the pirate group that...
he was a pirate.
Yeah.
He's a martial arts pirate. He was a French martial arts pirate. Yes. And he fought Captain America and did for a little while.
And he was hired previously to steal the Lumerian Star, which was a ship in the Mediterranean. Basically, he stole the ship so that they could steal the files off of it associated with Hydra. This all happened in the Winter Soldier. Okay, so why is this important? It's because literally Sam is walking in Captain America's footsteps and fighting the same exact dude. That's why it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they could get Batroc back. And this is a Captain America subsequent story, and Batroc didn't die in the first one, so let's face it again.
Yeah, Batroc didn't die. He also didn't die in this one. That's fine.
He always leaps out of the way at the last possible second.
Yeah.
Because he is in Marvel canon, the Leaper.
He did the Batroc the Leaper.
And he's had some terrible iterations in Marvel comicdom. Anyway,
anyways, he did seem like smaller, like he had like slimmed down from his bulky muscles because he was really big. Like he seemed he kind of got a good couple of throws in on Cap.
Yeah, he did.
And I liked how Sam basically used his like wily, sneaky kind of stuff, like sneaking in. Fighting, and then whenever he was fighting directly, he's like, I can't take this guy, and so he ended up using his wits and using Redbird and using all of the different aspects. I really enjoyed the action.
It's a great action scene. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. It's so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
You cannot think about it at all. If you engage your brain in this action sequence at all, you'll be like, WTF or LAF, like, just so infuriated by the scene because I started to wonder as to what's going on. Because I want to just reveal something. I know, so I don't want to, but I want to reveal something that I did for Clone Wars. And welcome to Death Count, because a whole bunch of people died in this episode, which is like, it was shocking to me coming on the following heels of WandaVision. I was like, whoa, people are like getting offed right, left, and center in this thing. So how many people died, Marie Claire?
How many people died?
Yeah, how many people do you think died in this overall total?
Was it 20 people?
Nope, it was more than that.
How is it? Are you including Winter Soldier's dream?
Yeah, that wasn't a dream. We saw that on TV.
Okay, fine.
We're in his head. We live in Winter Soldier's head.
Is it 40 people?
It was 33.
Okay.
33 people died.
Oh my God. We're going to do a full series death count, aren't we?
That's what I'm planning on doing. Full series death count. Join in. Have some fun with me. So, Marie Claire, how many... there's 3 groups. The bad guys, the good guy, the Falcon, and the Winter Soldier. Who killed the most people?
The Falcon.
Hands down. He killed 18 people in his fight. 18 people.
Oh my God.
The Winter Soldier killed 10. Oh, actually, it's only 31. The bad guys killed 3.
Oh, okay.
3 were killed by the bad guys in this entire sequence.
People are shocked that Sam was that like savage, like straight up
so savage,
killing people.
How many helicopters did Falcon take out?
Wasn't it 3?
No, it's 5. There are 5 helicopters with machine guns out in the Tunisian airspace that belong to LAF that were just en route, because remember, the plane was supposed to get over the border, right? The plane was supposed to go into Libyan airspace. And somehow these 5 helicopters just knew where to be so that they could engage with the 5 people in the squirrel suits. Anyway, back to you, Marie Claire. I'll come back to my rant in a bit.
Okay. Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres. Oh my God, I love him so much. He probably didn't belong on the ground as eyes for the U.S. Air Force.
What does he do? What is his job?
He's like an intelligence officer, I assume.
Guy goes where he wants to go, wears fatigues when he needs to wear them, right?
I mean, even reporters wear fatigues in armies, in like military zones.
That's fair.
So,
that's true.
Yes.
Also, he just commandeers the truck and drives for no reason. He's like, I gotta get him. Get out. And he just takes the truck all by himself.
Yeah. But I love him so much. I loved what we got out of him.
Yes.
I might even make him a little 8-bit dude because I love him so much.
Absolutely.
He's so cute. And he's a certified baby. So I have given him certified baby. If he gets hurt, I will probably rant and be very, very upset, other than getting like beaten up by the bad guys. But like if he actually dies, I will be very, very, very mad.
Oh, he's totally the baby. He has to be protected and saved.
He's a baby.
He's going to get captured because he's going to go too far and dig too deep, and something bad's
trying to help.
He's totally the April O'Neil of the Turtles of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
He's going to ask too many questions of the wrong people at the wrong time and get himself in trouble.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then, you know, we got the squirrel suits.
Wow, it was so fun.
Don't go to Libya. They'll blow you out of the sky. But I did like the moment when, although I did look, I was like, okay, so the guy's Vasant, who's trying to rescue, was clipped into his seat when he jumped through the helicopter to get him.
His wing cut the clip.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
it didn't. But I mean, he was going to be clipped in because they were literally in the air or whatever, wherever they were for that particular beginning of that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I loved it. It was cool. Just don't think too closely about some of the stuff, because all right.
Okay, so why Libya?
Okay.
Why Tunisia?
Yeah.
I don't understand your choice there, Malcolm Spellman. It was not really, like, Libya has this American, like, ooh, that's foreign and it's dangerous. But it's really not. And there's been a lot of American intercession in that country and in Tunisia too over the last 30 plus years, ever since Gaddafi took power. And Libya's trying to make a new go of things, and has been for quite some time. And so to suddenly paint them as like this, we can't fly into Libyan airspace because it's dangerous, is really hostile and problematic as a writer. And Hollywood, you should be ashamed of yourselves. You could have easily made this freaking Arizona, and they have captured this intelligence guy, and they're flying through Arizona because that could has easily been Arizona and the mesas there, as it was some foreign North African country full of oil.
This felt like it was filmed in the Grand Canyon.
Libya is the 16th largest country in the world, has only 7 million people in its population, and has 0 rivers. It relies on natural water from an underground aquifer. It is like most of the people in the country are located in the one major city in Libya, which I had to literally write down because I knew so little about Libya going into this, but it's Tripoli. There's 4 million people living in Tripoli. Tunisia, which shares a 246-kilometer border with Libya, and that border has been kind of fraught over time. Not that people fight about the border. They're not fighting about being Tunisian or from Tunis or being Libyan. They fight about this border because it has been such a spot of like contraband and smuggling and development. And Tunisia really relies on Libya for the import of their oil and export of their goods. Libyan people need to buy a lot of these things. And so pushing these things across. So this Tunisian and Libyan border is actually very well watched. There's lots of drones. There's lots of checkpoints, and there's 2 major entrances to this across this border into Libya. And so I can understand that they would be, we can't get to that border. We're going to get watched. We're going to get noticed because there's so many
it'll cause
drones.
an incident.
And the reason it'll cause an incident is because Libya is kind of in the midst of a real big election at this point. They finally got their heads on straight, and it's taken a long time since Gaddafi went down. for them to finally figure out democracy in a very small country that has a lot of oil. Like, did you know that Libya has the 10th largest oil reserve in the world?
I did not know that.
Yeah, so they're very powerful, and the US has always been very invested in what's going on there. Why? Because Russia's also very invested in what's going on there, and Turkey's very invested in what's going on there. And so what is going on right now? Well, right now, in the modern day, in Libya, there is 20,000 foreign troops from different agencies and different groups on Libyan soil. And during the pandemic, and right now, you cannot have a commercial airline fly over Libyan airspace. Why? Because there's so many goddamn mercenaries in there. They're literally trying to cap it down and keep it on the ground because they don't want people flying over Libya
and accidentally
and creating even more issues. Russia has a big play in Libya. They're trying to push to get, more socialism, more communism in that country,
well, that
while they're trying to push
towards
their first democratic election. And here's America calling basically Libya the bad guys because we can't go we can't go across their border.
It definitely presented that way.
Well, guess what? There's no American base in Tunisia either.
Yeah.
There's no American U.S. base in Tunisia. So where the heck did this plane come from? And why is Captain Vassant there? It just drove me nuts that they would use these North African countries, which are like, Tunisia is the smallest North African country, but Libya is quite large. Tunisia has 12 million people living in it, and it's a densely populated, beautiful place. It's got a huge swath of that northern coast. These are important places for world culture. And you're painting them as essentially foreigners and bad guys and mysterious. You could have just as easily made this happen in the United States itself. It would have set a better picture for where things were going to go. And I understand that you want to give them a global presence.
Yeah.
But you didn't play that very well at all.
It also, like, him being a government contractor and, like, breaking treaties and like all sorts of stuff is super problematic, and also doesn't play into this being kind of any different than what the US normally deals with and how they're presented in media anyways, which is they're always going to the Middle East and causing bullshit to happen over there. And frankly, it's a tired trope. It really is. It's tired, and Stop it.
Please and thank you. Also, why is there a truck with rockets? Where did that get to in the canyon? What is there a base here that we didn't know about? Because you surely didn't show us that. LAF, are you working right on the border? Like, how did these set pieces get there to put our hero in conflict? Because it made zero sense that suddenly rockets are being flung everywhere and Falcon's like, I gotta fly away from them. Other shows have done this better and have at least established, like Con Air did this better, and establishing where people were and why they were there. That's all you needed to do. You didn't do a good job of that.
All right.
It was beautiful, but you didn't do a good job of that.
Yeah, and like, why was Vassant important? Like, things should tie together, other than, we know where Falcon is now. Yeah. We know where Sam is. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it was awesome. It was gorgeous. It was everything you'd want in a cool set action piece featuring a guy with wings.
It just needed like maybe like 3 or 4 lines of like, why is this important? What does this matter to the main characters? And yeah, it's small demands, but we understand Falcon is working for the man.
But as soon as you started thinking about it, I was just like, I couldn't help but fall down the rabbit hole because there was nothing to cling to.
I know. I'm sorry.
Hold on to, as I'm like, what? Why? Oh no, I asked that question. There's a truck with rockets.
Let's talk about the Flag Smashers.
Ooh, yes. I'm excited about that. I love that.
Okay, so the Flag Smashers, to me...
Welcome to Pokemon Go.
...reminded me of Improv Everywhere.
Okay, it also reminded me of like Pokemon Go because you're using an app.
You're using your phone.
You're using the app to get the Flag Smashers logo. Like it's throughout the world. There was the game before Pokemon Go that the same company made, where you were literally fighting other people for the purple and the green
name.
Anyway, that game reminded me so much of what the Flag Smashers were doing.
Yeah.
Subtly through an app.
Augmented reality.
Exactly.
Like
I loved it
stuff.
so much.
I love that. Like he's like looking around and he's like, oh, look at this.
I found it.
Like. Gotta catch them all.
Yep. It was so good.
But it did remind me of Improv Everywhere, where it's like, okay, everybody show up on the subway and wear no pants. Like, so Improv Everywhere is a troupe in New York City where they basically
I don't know if they're still active.
No, they're still active. I
Really?
checked. Yeah,
Oh,
they haven't been doing stuff during COVID, but
they got a pilot. They shot 8 episodes and NBC never released it. It was so sad.
Release
Anyway, this isn't the Improv Everywhere
Release
show.
the Go and watch their YouTube videos. They're hilarious. They do like no pants on the subway days, or like they'll show up and then like come into a coffee shop and act a certain way, and they kind of set these things up beforehand, and they do it all online. They coordinate, and then everybody shows up and does the things that they're supposed to do. My favorite one was when they all show up into the New York Times Square Best Buy, all wearing khakis and blue golf shirts.
Yeah, they got escorted out pretty quick.
And
they didn't present themselves as employees.
Nope, but people came up to them and they're like, "Can you help me with this?"
And if somebody came up and asked them for help, they would be like, "Yeah, sure, of course I'll help you," right? Because you'd just be a helpful person in the world. And Best Buy employees were really mad. It was like, well,
No, it was the management.
It was really funny. Another one was when they went into Grand Central Station and they all, at the exact same time in the exact same second, froze in place for 2 minutes.
Right.
And did not move.
Yeah, I love that one too.
And then as soon as it was done, as soon as the time ended, they just continued on with their day and pretended like nothing happened. And everyone who was a tourist there was just blown away. Like, what's going on? And it was really
I liked
cool.
no pants on the subway. That was amazing too. So
that is an ongoing tradition now that is over 15 years old.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. So to me, they're like the Improv Everywhere / Pokemon Go of terrorist organizations. They're more like anarchists. They're more like anarchists, right? Because they don't want government at all. They want no government. They want
a world without borders. I don't know if they necessarily don't want government, but they want a world without borders.
Yeah, they want it to all be one world.
And I don't think that bookstore is even around anymore, so I don't know what their problem is.
It did remind me of Doctors Without Borders when he was explaining it. I'm like, I don't know why my brain went there, but they thought it was better when the blip was around.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Oh, Aaliyah's like, Falcons kill and eat squirrels. That's one of the reasons I loved it, because they were in their squirrel suits and he was hunting them out of the sky.
Oh, that's so
that's subtle and funny. I love it. That's
beautiful.
Beautiful. Flag Smashers are a terrible name, which they're calling attention
that's from the comics,
right away. It's right out of the comics.
Yeah.
Marie Claire pointed out that symbol there of the red handprint has the world in the palm, which is super cool. Really well
really
done
cool
on
design.
A graphic design element there. And I got the feeling like I kind of wanted to sympathize with them from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are people that survived the blip, and they liked the world the way it had changed to accommodate for the blip, with half the world's population suddenly gone, and people relying on each other a lot more. Mm-hmm. And suddenly the blip have returned and things are going back to the way they were before, because half the population has no recollection of the last 5 years. And so they want to keep things the way they were. Maybe the world had changed for some ways in the better with some of those people and some of those procedures and some of those policies being gone.
Yeah. And like, inevitably, when there is an external threat or something that happens, people in societies band together.
Yep.
There are going to be some elements that will take advantage of things, but inevitably, like, humanity had to band against the external threat of Thanos and the invasions that happened in the story. And so, like, the shared humanity seems like something that they're playing to. They present them as the bad guys, yes. But I get this feeling that they're gonna, I don't know, it would be interesting if they flipped the script a little bit.
They really should.
Yeah. So we'll see. And then we cut to Sam presenting the shield.
Yeah, he saved the day. So let's go and... I mean, I really got the feeling that this was the funeral for Steve.
Yeah. The way he put on his jacket at the start, I made a note that, like, it looked like he was prepping for a funeral.
Yeah.
Like, and this is
It
like
was a somber affair.
This is a somber affair, and like he's putting the shield where it needs to go, and you know we need new heroes.
Yeah.
And that
And
means,
even when they closed the thing,
yeah, and that means that he doesn't view himself as a hero, because he's saying, you know,
or that kind of hero.
yeah, that
like
kind of hero.
He's a sidekick.
Yeah,
He's not the star.
he's not the star.
Oh no, guess what? You are the star.
Yeah, guess what? Your name has got top billing, not just because it's spelled with an F instead of a W.
And he got the in bold.
And then we have this amazing like shot of him with Captain America behind him in front of the Smithsonian like flag as he's, you know, bringing the shield over to hand it over to entomb it forever, or so he thinks. Little does he know. In the moment, and oh my goodness! All right. Is now the time for the rant, or is that the end of the
I already
rant?
gave my first rant. Okay, is it time? Like almost every single one of the set pieces for the Falcon, I have a rant about. So the Smithsonian is an independent museum organization. It's not beholden to the U.S. government. They have their own board. They have their own protocols and procedures. If something is donated to the Smithsonian, the government can't just go and be like, "No, it's ours," and requisition it. Like they're literally signed off on the delivery of the shield to the Smithsonian. The fact that same elderly white asshole gets to just take it later and be like, ha, you gave it to the Smithsonian, but little did you know.
It even says, like, thank you for giving up the shield. Like, it was the right thing to do.
Ew. Oh, I hate that guy so much. Like, condescension just
Not to mark
dripping
this
off
explicit
of him.
on the podcast feed, Kyle.
I said it under my breath.
You did not.
So
language, as Megan Bill said earlier to me.
Well, that was fine. I mean, I'm mad. That guy's a jerk.
Oh yeah, no. I hope he gets his comeuppance.
I hope he works for LAF in the end.
Whatever the version of Hydra is now.
So there's no real way that the government can just go and requisition. Like, he has donated the shield to the Smithsonian. They have literally interred the shield at the Smithsonian. If you were just going to take it back a couple of days later, why have this big ceremony in the first place unless you're really just trying to coax the shield back from Sam? It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
0 sense.
It was just a weird way to...
Beautiful scene yet again, and great job from Anthony Mackie. Again, I really felt something in this scene.
Yeah, for his character development, I mean, okay, yes. And you know what? The point is the things that happen rather than the poking holes in the reality of these things. But I guess in the MCU universe, in the MCU universe, it is the that is the way of things.
Yes, and once upon a fanfic, it is the same shield. They don't have the money for a new shield. It's literally not even their shield. It was a gift from Wakanda. They don't have the rights to this.
Yeah, like
they don't have the rights to this artifact.
Vibranium, yeah. Like it's
no, it's not like maybe they had their own vibranium. Well, they didn't make the shield with that vibranium. That was a gift from the Black Panther to Captain America, and he handed it over to Sam. Like, the line of ownership is very clear here. Black Panther, Captain America, Sam, the Smithsonian. The U.S. government is not any of those people. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful scene. Loved that moment of this click.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like, they're closing the chapter. This is what this is. They're closing the chapter.
Make this bigger.
And we're moving on. And then we get to go to the museum and have this beautiful scene.
Yeah.
Oh, what a good scene.
And like having Rhodey and Sam together, having this such a good conversation. Like, why didn't you take up the mantle? Like, it's like, well, why didn't you take up Iron Man's mantle? Rhodey.
Exactly, right?
I wish she'd kind of shoved it back at him a little bit, but
that would have been brilliant.
Yeah.
Really well thought. Like, so why aren't you Iron Man?
Yeah, why didn't you take up Iron Man's mantle? It's like, you're Iron Patriot.
Yeah, you can fit in the suit.
Yeah, you've got a suit. All this stuff. He's like, but I like a bigger machine gun than him. I guess. Right? But I love that we saw the Bucky Barnes stuff from previous, from Winter Soldier. That's when this was originally. And you asked about I Pledge Allegiance and Silence about the War like propaganda posters.
It was shown 4 times in
all
this
of
scene.
them were real.
Yeah,
like all of the propaganda
legit posters from the Second World War.
Yeah, we looked this one up because
I had to look this one up, and there's really no writing on it. There's no written up story about it. It's literally saying like loose lips sink ships, as you said to me.
Yeah.
But also that, a casual comment can be misconstrued or taken for what it was, and you can do terrible things. So the fact that your loved one is in the Gulf or is on the storming the beach of Normandy, if you tell that to the wrong person here in America, that might get back to the Germans.
Yeah. People are pointing out that the shield wasn't from Wakanda, but we don't really know where the shield was.
It was a gift. It was literally Black Panther gave it to Iron Man.
I mean, that was at the start of Endgame. However, that one had been destroyed, and then he went back into the past. I don't know. It's fine. I don't.
Totally
doesn't matter.
From Wakanda.
Doesn't matter.
It's vibranium. It has to be from Wakanda.
I mean,
it can't be from anywhere else. If it's from anywhere else, it's stolen Wakanda.
Yeah,
stolen vibranium. He
contacted somebody and he got some vibranium. This shot in and of itself, which is Anthony Mackie, like in the reflection of the shield itself, it's like beautifully done.
It's a great moment
because it is very symbolic. He doesn't see himself fully clearly in the guise of Captain America. He feels very like an imposter. Like symbolically, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was gorgeous. Like the fact that he was blurry. Yeah, and the shield was like, yeah, I can see him behind the shield, and that's what they're showing us here.
Yeah, exactly. And I just like he doesn't see himself. That's what it's saying, and I just love it so much.
It's gorgeous. It was another great moment to end a great scene that had weird, things establishing things for it. Foundation is really rocky when it comes to the Falcon storyline.
I don't know why. Because it seems like there's a lot of cool things to talk about. And it definitely does seem, as we get into the Winter Soldier's story, that they had less trouble establishing where he was and what was important to him. Specifically, this dream sequence, which made me go, whew.
Also, he saves Captain Besant. Right? He saves the day. He defeats all of the bad guys. He flies in and does all this amazing Falcon stuff.
We're back on Falcon, okay?
But just to end it.
Yeah.
So, like, he saves the day, right? And then they go to the funeral, and he's like, I'm not worthy. But you just saved the day. You were a superhero. Everybody acknowledges and knows you're a superhero.
Yeah, like, you get superhero worship from Torres. Like, he's like, you're so
also
cool.
That guy walks over in Arabic and says, I just want to thank you for bringing my wife back to me. And he's like, well, we do what we do. And he's like, oh, and you said that he's like, thank you, sir, in Arabic. And it's just, come on, you are a consummate
people are pointing
hero.
out it is the refusal of the call. It is the thing. It just maybe didn't feel as I don't know, earned or like.
Well, his refusal
done.
is entirely internalized.
Oh yeah,
and he doesn't even really talk about it. He just
he's just like, no. I mean, I think it just like they do explain it. Like he just can't picture himself in the role of Captain America.
Yeah, but all they did was just repeat the line that he said when Steve first gave him the shield. It was just a literal repeat of that line.
Yeah,
as opposed to anything new.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, the better storyline of this episode.
I mean, it just felt more stable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Better rooted, better understanding, and each of the set pieces had genuine foundational
You're growing
motivation.
your hair out to be Winter Soldier length. It's very lovely.
Just wait till I lose my arm.
No.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I just thought, wow, it's nice to have Winter Soldier back because I like villains, and I thought that he was really, really hot in this moment.
Oh, I was totally shocked. I'm like, we're in Russia. And suddenly, like, Russians and the Winter Soldier's there, and he's wearing his mask again? Why is he wearing his mask again? Wait, is that the red star on his shoulder?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is he hurting these people?
But I love that he, like, the intro is him, like, literally punching through a wall and grabbing the one guy. Yeah. And then, like, all of the cool stuff, like the stab in the neck, and then, like, the grabbing, and then the Hail Hydra. It's like, oh, okay, this is the past. Yeah.
Graphic, bloodless murder.
Yeah.
Fully 10 people.
And then we get the...
Okay, there was one guy that might have gotten away. There was a skinny blonde guy in a gray suit that might have gotten jumped on, but like when he comes in, he turns and he runs with the boss, and I totally got the picture in my head as this is happening. As he turns to run away, I'm like, that guy's not a good bodyguard, but at least he lived.
Yeah, exactly. At least he lived.
Nope. That's the Winter Soldier.
So he's a half point on the death count. Okay.
I know. Well, he's still.
Oh my God, this scene when he wakes up. So
yes.
Okay, so I want to talk about this moment just for a moment, and that's why I made it super big in the presentation, because I've read fic that literally start like this back in the day when Bucky's like waking up from a nightmare. After all of these things, he's sleeping on the ground because of that whole speech that Sam gives in Winter Soldier about like, oh, it's because your bed is too soft. You're used to sleeping on the ground and using rocks as pillows. We see that reflected in Bucky and how he still is not home from the war that he has been fighting, or the kind of war that he has been participating in for the past century.
Yeah, he definitely hasn't moved past his past.
Yeah, exactly. And I love.
But I don't like the fact that he's watching soccer.
Yeah, no, I think that was just because it came on.
Maybe it's just like that's when it plays in the middle of the night. Because that's when Americans who don't watch soccer have soccer on. I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Yeah, you do see the soccer on. And a lot of people have pointed out, like, oh my God, imagine if he had actually gotten together with Leah from the sushi fusion restaurant, and
they'd have gone back to her place.
Yeah, he would have been too embarrassed because, like, he has 2 chairs and a TV.
Exactly.
Like, 2 chairs and a widescreen TV. Yeah. That is all he owns in the world. And a blanket. He has a blanket and a pillow.
Yeah.
Like, that pillow belongs to that chair, too. So it's like...
That's funny.
That blanket came with that chair, too. Yeah.
As a bundle set from IKEA?
Yeah, it was like, whatever. It's just...
I'm interested to know more about where and how he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although a lot of New Yorkers have said that that's a $4,000 apartment.
Oh, doubtlessly it is. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't even know if he necessarily lives there. It might just be he's squatting.
He's squatting in
an empty
and
New York
that
house.
Chair he had picked up from the street in the what is it, Bermuda Triangle from How I Met Your Mother, and like that other chair he had picked up off the street.
Maybe he's just sleeping on the floor in Sam's New York apartment.
I don't think Sam. Yeah, Sam.
No, actually, technically, Sam doesn't have a New York apartment.
No,
Sam has nowhere to live.
He lives in Louisiana. And
all these people have been gone for 5 years. Their houses are gone. They revealed that in Ant-Man, like the Ant-Man scene when he goes back to his house and is like somebody else is living there and he has to find all his stuff in storage, right? Like, jeez. Anyway.
Yeah.
So it's time to go to counseling.
And then we go to counseling, which inspired our background, of course, because we loved it so much.
We're in counseling too.
You're in counseling too.
This is our counseling.
Yeah. And then, are you still having nightmares? No.
Well, it wasn't a nightmare.
Oh my goodness. I mean, no.
No, it's not a nightmare. I'm being really clear here. And she's like, you're lying. That's my voice where she doesn't talk like that, but that's how I
If you don't talk, I write. Okay, so like a lot of people are like, oh, there needs to be trust between counselors. This is government mandated counseling.
He's required to go there.
It's going well.
He doesn't get a choice. He has to be there.
Yeah, this is how he avoids his this is how part of his pardon, right? So he doesn't want to be there, of course. But I mean, we do recognize her from the commercial or from the trailer where she's like, what are you guys doing? Are you guys having a staring contest? So I think she's going to be kind of, it gave me the big like therapist to Tony Soprano vibe. Like, just like, oh, I'm dealing with this.
Lorraine, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just kind of dealing with this mass murderer person and I have to make sure that they're okay. So
she is so hard. she's a hardened person. I quite like her. She has some depth and degree.
She was a soldier.
Edginess to her character, but like, I'm a soldier. I've seen the dead bodies. Like, you have? How many people have you killed?
Yeah.
I kind of think it's not a small number.
As Dominic pointed out, he needs theater of war. And I agree. He needs Brian Dories to do a personal performance for him, set up where he can deal with all of his trauma and forgive himself.
All of the camera angles were so weird in this scene. Like, up and really close. You can't see the entirety of their face.
Either straight on or like over her shoulder where she looks huge. And I included it in the beginning little scene for my little 8-bits because she's huge when she's over the shoulder.
She looms large.
Because it's all about the power dynamic. She literally controls his fate. So I do think that maybe she will play into him being allowed to be going on adventures in the end, right?
He's already required to. He's like required to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's required to make use of his abilities in service to the U.S. government and only in that regard. But he's trying to make amends. And then, but they also do the same camera angle focus close up that they did here with her.
Yeah.
And you really have to rely on their vocal performance in this because you get so little of their face
you get a
with
tiny
which to emote
face twitch from him.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh my God.
And then for the smile moment, which is one of my favorite moments in the entire, like the double smile from him. I smiled too and kind of chuckled because I really liked.
Yeah.
Like, he's got such a disarming smile.
And then we get into the amends rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
How to make amends. There are 3 rules.
Can't do anything illegal. Nobody gets hurt. Most important.
If it's the most important, why isn't it the first rule?
It's the first rule, yeah.
Because you know what? In regards to making amends against people who you have assisted in doing wrong, then you can't do anything illegal about that. But people might get hurt.
Yeah, there was a lot of anxiety and claustrophobia in those angles because it was like very insular and trapped and like he's powerless. They did such a good job of showing all of that with visuals. I'm no longer the Winter Soldier. I'm James Bucky Barnes, and you are part of my effort to make amends.
Smile.
And smile. And then we got like both smiles, which was brilliant.
So good.
I did want to point out that this is very similar to making amends direct amends is very similar to the 12-step program for alcoholics and addiction, AA recovery. And it's like a really, really important step in forgiving yourself as part of you moving forward. And it's about
one of the things that's clear here is that he doesn't have to recognize that he has a problem. It's like, because you were controlled by other people and we've removed that, so you can skip those steps in our 12-step program.
Yeah, exactly. I do appreciate that he is like, look, I'm trying. Like, that's literally like the vibe that we get from him.
I'm trying.
Like, I'm trying. Like, you don't understand. But I do not understand what I'm doing this for because I am not valuable to anything or anybody.
Yeah.
He feels discarded. He feels like, in many ways, like one of the themes that I see in this is that it's just, yes, it was all absolutely a smile with his mouth and not with his eyes, like you can tell. That super fake smile, because the true telos, the ultimate meaning of who the Winter Soldier is and who Bucky is, has not been found yet, right? So that whole conversation is all to get to the point of, well, who is Bucky Barnes? What is he now after all of this? And that's what the whole amends is supposed to help him lead him to, but he's not nearly where he needs to be from a journey perspective.
He can't forgive himself yet.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's literally the first step he's going to have to take.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he's only going to do that with the reflection of like having Sam help him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then on to the list. I've got
we have a little list.
We have a
it's
little
really
list.
our only Easter egg that we get at all in the entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a lot of symbology that we can really like turn and focus. There's 2 other names that we get. They don't drop a lot of stuff, and all of the characters are kind of already established. So,
well, it kind of looks like there's 2 lists, right? Like there's
it's just 2 pages of the list.
Yeah, like I think that there's like a bad guy list of like, these are bad guys who I helped gain power, who I helped put into power or I benefited. And then there's the sort of victims or their families list of a different kind of sense of things. To me, that's what it is.
I couldn't find out too much. I'm hoping that we get a little bit of them. I don't think they're going to really focus on it, but you can see on the left-hand side that there's 2 Kaminsky's. So like, that must be, I hope that they draw to that. And then we see 4th down the list. We
Helmet
get
Zero.
H. Zemo.
Zemo, sorry. Helmet Zemo.
Yes.
Oh, I'm tired. Oof.
That's okay. Helmet Zema.
Zema? Helmet Zemo. Yeah.
He's the creator of the Zema drink.
Yeah.
So we know Zemo's on there, and he needs to get redemption from Zemo in some capacity.
Well, I mean,
Zemo's responsible for doing so many bad things to him.
Exactly. And like Atwood, that like his consideration for her was to hand her back, into the authorities, be like, she's a terrible person, please take her away. I did like that he had fun.
Yeah.
A little bit, like, I'm gonna mess with her a little bit, but I'm gonna put like the fear of God into her before I hand her over to the authorities. Yes. Like that's what he did. It was good, and it was, I don't know.
Nobody got hurt except for a hitman.
Yeah, and he like punched him. He's probably dead. He punched him with the fist.
No, he didn't kill that guy.
Okay, fine.
He didn't. That guy's not dead.
Fine.
He's not on my list of people who died.
Okay. And then we get Yori Nakajima. Yeah. So, and which immediately cuts into him going and having Ken Takemoto, who is playing Yori Nakajima, the old cantankerous man dealing with Unique in the alleyway.
I love that. I want more Unique. They shake hands. He's like, it's like Monique, but with a U to make it unique, which is just so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Yori.
You can't put your garbage in my garbage. What a great scene start.
It's amazing because it's like, okay. Like, and I can definitely see how like Bucky like understands like they did it so well. Bucky understands Yori so well. So good. Like, just gives him, and he's like, I understand. Pinochle, why not? Like, what's wrong with Pinochle? Like, we get that amazing intro to that. And then we have...
You missed that great line, though, where that made me laugh out loud in the scene back with the shrink, where she's like, so what do you want? And he's like, peace. And she's like, that's bullshit. And he's like, you're a terrible psychiatrist.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
I really like that moment. And then we get moved right into this scene, which is like, I love these next 2 scenes, the scene in the bar and then the scene in the bar again later. Both of them are just brilliant.
We get like this, like ultimate wingman, like old man wingman for Bucky to be like, he wants to take you out on a date. It's like, I apologize for him. It's like, why? I'll go. Sure. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I love her so much.
I like that. I hope there's more of her. Like I don't know if there will be because he just kind of leaves.
He leaves like so awkwardly. We'll get back to that. But
the whole date is awkward, but delightful.
Yeah. Awkward. But yeah, he's still like, I don't know. I don't know if we'll get more Yori, but I hope we do because it definitely seems like it's something that he's working on.
If we don't get any closure. He still needs to talk to Yori. It might not be till the final act.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to put his courage to a sticking place and go forward and tell Yori to make amends.
Yeah. Leah certainly seemed understanding, and yeah, I really appreciated it. Okay, on to...
He got so close.
Falcon.
So close in that scene.
I know.
I didn't pay for lunch.
Yeah, no, that's later. But boats.
Oh, right, because we cut back and forth so much.
Yeah.
We should have really just turned it into this one story and this one story rather than interposing it for our watchers. But anyway, yeah, the story then immediately flips back.
If they keep on doing that, then I will kind of try to streamline the storylines
next episode, or at least
I hope so.
I don't really have much going on, so
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. Nonetheless, it's boat time.
Boat.
And this is actually the scene from the boat we get later on, but nonetheless, this is what's the title of the boat again? It's something in Denise. Paul and Denise, yeah. Denise, which is the name of Sam Wilson's parents, Sam and Sarah Wilson's parents. In the comics, Paul Wilson is a really renowned Harlem minister. He's very well known and he's very established clergyman, and he has a lot of clout in Harlem itself. And I think they're drawing on that here to say that, because Sarah then mentions at one point, my father was a great man and these people don't even know him, is saying a lot of things about the sort of home, the good high quality home life that Sam Wilson came from. Yeah.
And I just love the character Sarah Wilson. Like she resonated like mom just trying to do the best for her kids and for her family, and is just so done with Sam Wilson and his like nostalgia of, and this is exactly like the blip in microcosm, right? Because it's like, I've been gone for 5 years, but it's been no time for me whatsoever. And so I still want to do what's right for my family. And she's like, I've had to live through this. Yeah. This is not possible. Like, we have to let these things go. I think she lost
her husband before the blip.
I think so too. Yeah.
We don't get clear assessment of that, but it seemed like he was gone, not during the blip, but before the blip. And so she's been alone raising her kids for a very long time. And he left even before the blip and went off to become a hero and was in the Air Force. And then he wasn't even living in Des Moines. He was living in New York, helping other vets, right?
Yeah.
Like he
was Delacroix.
Delacroix. Yeah. Okay.
Delacroix.
Well, that was Des Moines.
No, Des Moines is in like Illinois.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I mean,
we're Canadian, so
Des Moines sounds like a place in Louisiana. Why isn't it there? You should really move it.
Delacroix?
They should move Des Moines to Louisiana just to make it easier for me.
No.
Everybody just relocate.
Yes, exactly. Well, so she's just done with Sam and his like, but like he doesn't listen to what she's saying, and he cannot see things from any other perspective but his own. And yeah, both Sam and Steve's moms were named Sarah, which is, okay, that's where we're at.
Sam,
Iowa.
Wait, what?
Apparently,
Sam's sister is Sarah.
Oh, sorry, Sarah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Sarah. Yes, Sarah is a very common name. Apparently, Des Moines is in Iowa.
Okay, I mean, I don't doubt that you're right on that.
No, I said Illinois.
Who cares? It's not in Louisiana, which is what's important here, and that's not where the scene is set, because it's on the ocean. They're in the ocean. They're in the ocean,
and also they have a shrimp business, and she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I also need to sell this boat, and you need to support me and get me so that I can actually sell this boat and survive.
Yeah. Which is so funny because he's also like, and you wanted to sell more of your plates anyway. You wanted to do more of your plates. There's a lot of foundational things that are missing in this scenes. I don't really understand why he's suddenly back. I get the feeling like he's back because he has nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
He's home suddenly to visit and whatnot, and they establish him so much. He's like white for the red for the snapper, white for the other fish thing, which
like
is,
he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
But he also hasn't been around. And so he just feels it just feels like a little bit like he and I mean, I think it's entirely purposeful that he's just supposed to be kind of like insensitive and not picking up on social cues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like he is where he is. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's not getting it. But then again, he's a microcosm for half the world not getting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then we're back to the date. I did want to point out that he stops the lucky cat's arm. The lucky cat who's like doing his little arm wave.
The Winter Soldier arm?
Yeah, and he stops the Winter Soldier's arm, which is like the left arm. Yeah, the left arm is...
And it doesn't, even if you stop it, it's still going to go right back to doing it.
It's still going to go right back to doing it. It was awesome. An awesome ad where he goes and like stops it.
Yeah.
I love that he brings her flowers because he hasn't danced in so long. And, you know, he's already like 4 beers into it when she's like, I'll go get you beer. Yeah. It's like, he's already like got 4 beers.
Just the lighting in this scene is so personal and so well done, and they're like dimly lit, but really you can see all of their expressions. The way they're seated to each other brings that closeness, and you get a real sense that this is a proper date. The things they say are delightful, and the fact that she pulls out Battleship, because maybe I was like, that's weird, but at the same time I kind of get it. If they're like, you know, if the shop is dead, they pull out a game of Battleship that they can immediately just put us. That was really well done, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I really loved it too.
I thought they have such great chemistry together. But then again, Sebastian Stan has great chemistry with pretty much everyone he performs with.
He could have great chemistry with a wall.
Yes.
He had great chemistry with that cat.
Yes. That cat is a huge piece of him in the comics too. Like, in the start
you're
of the
talking about his
novel.
cat? Yeah. He's got his cat.
His cat he's got great chemistry with. He tells in the opening scenes of the graphic novel, his little cat's there. Yeah. He's like, these bad guys broke in and tried to kill my cat. Like it's like
very John Wick. Wow.
Like they broke in and tried to kill my cat, but they're really attacking him. They weren't after the cat at all.
Yeah.
He's like, but they couldn't really. They're never going to kill me.
They need to give him a cat. He needs a cat. I hope he gets a cat. I hope he gets a cat because that's such a big part of the comics too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I love this, but he's just like, she says the wrong thing. She's like, he's just still not over it. And he's like, oh, I gotta go and tell Yori the truth. And he can't.
It was a heart-wrenching scene when she's talking about it too, because it's not something that's brought up often. You know, we do have titles for all these other things because they happen, but we don't have titles for something that's not supposed to happen. And that was really powerful writing. Yeah. Really captures the core of both our English language and our inability to say certain things, especially in a time of grief like that. Mm-hmm. And like, was a long time ago. Like was Nori also blipped, or did he come back and he's still trying to get through this? Like, I'm trying to figure out the timeline for when this Russian attack happened. And I'm like, you know, what's important is that it's still relevant to now. Not necessarily that it was 12 years ago. Yeah. And then there's a 5-year blip in there. And you have to do the math, think we need to carry the one. Yeah. We don't need to do that. What needs to happen here is that it's fresh for both of them, and it's causing that tension between a friendship that is clearly reciprocated on both sides between Nori and
Yori.
Bucky. Yeah, Nakajima.
Yori. You said Nori. Nori.
Thank you for the correction.
Yeah, no, just, being clear. All right.
Okay, so then what's Talos? Because you dropped that, like everybody should know what it means, but I doubt.
I said ultimate truth. I did say.
You just said Talos. You said nothing else.
It's the ultimate truth of who he is. I said that. Mm-hmm. All right, so Erin Kellyman, yay, she's back, yay. So Erin Kellyman,
or her stunt actors.
I mean, that's her hair. I can tell. It would not be not her for that moment where she unzips a bag.
I don't know.
It's her.
Depends if she was available or her stunt person was there, because she's in the mask. So
fair.
Yeah, but either way, it's still Carly Morgenthau.
Carly Morgenthau, who is the leader of, or who is Flag Smasher, gender bent, in the comics, Carl Morgenthau. Yeah, Carl originally, and they've changed her. So although they go into a big amount of detail about the big guy that beats up Torres being the leader.
Well, I think it's Georges St. Pierre. I think that's the UFA fighter. Georges St. Pierre is that guy. I don't know his character yet. I know he's in the show, and I know he has a role to play. I think he's the second to Carly Morgenthau. What's great is that they totally mistake this, and they believe that he is the
leader, and she's definitely the leader. Yeah. So
really, they're an anarchist movement. Should there be?
Is there a leader? We'll find out. I don't know.
Terrible name. interesting
Flag
motivations.
smasher originally. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait to actually get some more, like, what is she all about? We only got like a brief 2 seconds of her unzipping a thing and handing the mask out, which the masks were really cool too.
They were
like
so
them.
cool.
Yeah.
I loved them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great scene, great moment, great piece to further the bad guys and our secondary characters to say things are happening.
Because they're not really doing good things, because they all get the message, like Ren, which is run.
In German, yep.
And then the bank is, he jumps down with the 2 duffel bags and runs.
And honestly, if there are any banks in the world that deserve to be robbed, it's Cayman Island banks and Swiss banks. So really, like, if you're stealing from Swiss banks, that's probably a good thing. That's all probably Nazi money anyway.
Yeah.
Like, no jokes. Like, this is a good bank to steal from. Like, this is, if you're going to be the flag smashers, you need to...
Is he in Switzerland? Did we find out?
This is Switzerland.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He's in Switzerland.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably it. I mean, I just get the feeling like we're going to find out that they have more complicated motivations than we're giving them credit for. So I hope so.
I agree.
I hope that's what we get. Yeah. And then we get the cool, like, he eats that guy across the street, and like, we'll get into it, like, when they talk about the scene, which is, recorded on his phone, the unsaid things that they say.
Oh.
And then we get the, flashback to Sam. Okay, you need to time box this rant, because...
Okay, I'll be really quick.
Yeah.
This scene sucks. This banker guy sucks. He doesn't have a computer that he consults. He doesn't enter any numbers in. He only idly flips through the math. Oh, look at all the numbers you've presented me with. Oh, I couldn't give something to someone with numbers. You haven't done anything for the last 5 years? Come on, buddy. Like, obviously, must have been one of the blipped. I'm just floored that there would be this level of lack of care.
And he's been working for 6 months on government contracts. Like, that's enough time to be applicable for a loan.
Exactly. He has outstanding government contracts that are still in place, and they are long-standing and have been going on. Like, come on. Like, he's an Avenger, and you're still gonna... I mean, all he has to say is, thanks for saying no to me. I'm just gonna go across the street to the paper to let them know that a struggling fisher boat that is being... that we're in a former Avenger who saved the world has been denied on a loan. Like, but can I get a selfie? What? This is what this is? This is what you're gonna present us with? And I get it. Because this is how the world works. This happens as a banker, as a former banker. This happens all the time. I'm just like so frustrated by this scene, by I guess at the end, the reality of it. Because you've condensed down into 3 minutes shit that happens all the time. And yes, in this instance, it's happening to the people who have been blipped. But honestly, it happened so much in my time as a banker, where this guy here, he's got his electrical engineering degree. We'll give him a loan. But that guy over there with the long established career at the Cargill meat plant, we won't give him a loan.
Yeah, I know. And manual labor, et cetera, is treated like garbage in the banking industry. My frustration with this is that, although, to Rhodey's point earlier on in the show, everything is broken and they're just looking for somebody to fix it. I'm sorry, but things actually seem so much worse under COVID and what we've experienced as a society, and like the fact that it's accentuated the differential between people who have no money to exist and people who are just consuming that wealth. And yeah, it is kind of it taps into that in this moment. It's just so much worse for so many people, especially with racial tensions and the inequity of this long-standing institutionalized racism that exists in the world. And like, it just feels like it falls flat because actually we see worse stuff day to day in our news, and I just can't.
I was so frustrated. I economically, it made zero sense that they'd be unwilling to do the loan, and he would deny them so quickly without even going for approval.
Wouldn't they have like some sort of regulation that would come in for blipped people, kind of like how they dealt with
exactly.
They glossed it over a lot in Spider-Man Far From Home, because they made so many exceptions for these kids that were blipped. It's like, is Louisiana that much different than New York? I guess.
I guess.
I don't know.
I was so offended.
Weird.
But I realize I'm supposed to be offended. I just didn't like how the scene was established, and I don't like what the motivation is. And then there was a secondary part to that scene that I think has been cut for time or something that I think would have given even more, because all we got from Sarah the entire time is her pushing against Sam. Sam's like, I know it's right. No, you really don't, and you need to stop. But okay, I guess Big Brother's gonna come and save the day again. It's not gonna happen. That's all we really got from her, and I think we would have gotten more from her if we'd gotten that other scene, which I think you have a picture of. But still at the bank, we are supposed to see, it's hard to be a hero. And
like
Sam doesn't have a place.
How do heroes afford? It's like, well, obviously the Avengers had places to live, or at least subsidies from Stark Industries. And like, this makes Pepper Potts seem like an absolute jerk, for how she's treated the Avengers who went away with Steve and then came back and saved the planet. Also, it makes the whole world seem like a bunch of jerks. Yeah. It's like, oh, we live on charity. It's like, what? Okay. The world seems really screwed up, just particularly in that way, and actually less screwed up than it actually is nowadays. I don't understand. It's just weird. The
concept of relying on goodwill for a superhero. And granted, this is at a time when the Sokovian accords are in place, and you have to like identify who you are as a hero with the government. But
now he's working as
and he has government contracts.
I don't understand.
You haven't done anything for the last 5 years. What you now know I'm the Falcon. You gotta know I got blipped, buddy. Like, there's been stories about me. What the heck? Anyway, all that to say, Sam doesn't have a place.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know where his place is.
That's the thing we're supposed to get out of this. And also that the world is unfair. And things are really like not settling back into, people don't know where they're supposed to be, and we have entire groups, and it on the macrocosm with the flag smashers wanting to destroy things back to the blip time, and like people who don't want that,
low-end bankers who just want things back to during the blip time. Like, he was like, it would just be so easier if we went back to the blip sort of attitude.
Like, all right, you want.
But the means of production would immediately have ramped up with all the people who have suddenly reappeared. The amount of consuming of goods and services would have suddenly gone up with all the people that suddenly reappeared. Like, even if Marvel, you've really created a huge stick point for the fourth phase with this blip.
Like, they're just trying to move past it. They're like, we kind of deal with it, but we kind of don't wanna. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's funny though, because they've already done this once before with the Heroes Reborn storylines, which I'm just realizing, which led to the Ultimates in the end and a creation of a whole new universe. When they had like Heroes Reborn, they were all gone and they all came back and they restarted all their books. And they're like, how are things different? They've already done this once before. They should
in the comics?
They should be able to figure out how to make it work this time and give us some genuine things to think about from a science fiction perspective. Anyway. Moving on.
So we have this scene outside, which, Sarah's like, I told you so, Sam. And like, they're delivering these food, which the boxes are completely empty, and it's very
Sam
apparent.
Sam does a great job of like, oh, these are heavy, I'm picking up lots.
Yeah,
but she literally picks them up with 3 fingers.
She's like,
yep.
Yeah, it's fine. Just those like little things that you notice when you've watched the show like 3 times to take slides and notes and stuff. But they seem to be delivering it to a bunch of white people camping out in a parking lot. And I was like,
there's just a bunch of people camping out. They're literal tents that are set up, and they are put directly between. Like, we have our Falcon and Winter Soldier here. You're supposed to be drawn to that. They're in between the conversation that Falcon and Sarah are having, and so this must be relevant. And they then pick up the boxes, and you would think like if that wasn't really relevant and it was just a missed shot, that they would have turned away from it. But they literally take the boxes and walk towards them.
It was weird. So, I was like, what?
Where are these boxes going to? Why do they have so many boxes of food already set up? And also, those are in paper things, and they had an hour before their appointment, and they were already serving them.
They'd be gross.
Those paper things would have been like completely destroyed by that point. But okay, especially since they're serving things from pots. But okay, that's not really the point. The point here is, I think that they're making a delivery to a food bank. Because that's something that they do, is that they put food together.
She was also saying that they keep these for the shelter or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so she like it, but this seemed like it was a deal that they had
Fresh-made food that they were delivering, and it looked like to people in need.
I know it was.
Oh, I wonder if those were blip people that don't have homes.
I think you're thinking too deeply for the show right now.
But I mean, honestly, it's a bunch of tents set up in the middle.
Okay, yeah. You feel like there would probably be more people than that.
I mean, it could be, but this could just be one outreach point in Des Moines.
They did
Des Moines? No, because that's in Iowa.
Delacroix.
And Des Moines wouldn't be the location for this because there's an ocean here. So it has to be in Delacroix, which I know very well.
Yeah.
That's the case.
It was weird. She only wanted to work a day or two. Yeah, Pepper Potts gets a bad rep, or she doesn't, and she deserves all of this censure.
Yep.
And then we get the, hey, text message from... Torres, who's like, hey, can you get to a secure line? And he watches the video, and then he cuts him off just before he says, do you think that this could be?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Da da da. And a lot of people have been filling in the blanks with this. It's like, do you think that this could be supers? Do you think that this could be mutants? Do you think that this could be stuff? I think they're just going to say that these people inject cool stuff into them to become stronger. I think that's what they're going to say, because we've seen like Erin Kellyman's character, Carly, fight in one of the trailers, and she beats the crap out of Bucky, and I included that in my little intro thing because I loved it so much. So
I like them bouncing in the car.
I do think that they will probably tie something into how they're more super. I seriously think if they're going to include mutants, it's going to be in a movie.
I don't think be in this show.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to include it in something that's like they're gonna keep the high, changing of the universe moments for movies. So just wait. This is about Sam and Bucky and dealing with their emotions through the pieces. And for the most part, minus kind of some of the universes, we just kind of have to not think about them a little bit. The universe's issues.
Yeah.
I love the emotions. I love the character development of all of these things. And then, Sarah comes in and is like, oh my God, Sam, we need to turn on the television because look what's just happened.
Oh my God. We're at that point already?
Yeah.
Ugh. So I want to, he was late to get there, to get the costume on. They're like, the press release is starting. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I was doing some 10-ton bench presses.
It's been like one day since he dropped off the shields.
Like, it's been no time whatsoever. Like, might have been more than a day, but anyway, it's literally not any time at all for us. And they literally come over and just smash the helmet down on his head.
His little ears.
Out, and he's like, and smile. He's like, I can't, my face is killing me right now.
The helmet looked too small in this scene.
It looked like it, or was maybe too big, and they just literally crammed it down, and his poor ears are now squished underneath it and sticking out, and the helmet's like literally over the top of his eyeballs. He looks so much better in the poster.
I'm just wondering if maybe that was purposeful because like no time has passed, and then they're like, oh, I guess you're gonna be the new Captain America. He's like, okay, and he tries on he tries on Steve's helmet, and Steve's helmet. He's got like a bigger head, and he's like, burp! Like,
yeah, it didn't fit, but I loved how it was the U.S. agent's his outfit without the white. There's really one of the clear delineations is not much white in his outfit, and it looks like that marching band brocade across the front, like, and I hate him so much already.
Everyone's
and what's
like,
great,
I punch.
Everyone hates him. Here's a character that has said 0 words.
He just smiles
3 seconds and winks.
Oh yeah, he winks. Yeah. Yeah.
3 seconds of screen time and everyone hates him already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cap is back. And then
they really did pick the best actor for this.
Oh, he's so good.
He's so good at being so immediately hated.
I know. And then on that, it says manufactured heroes.
Manufactured hero.
Or manufactured hero. And so was Captain America.
Right. But at the same time, he wasn't, because he was picked. This guy would have been like, you know, like I was talking to you about this from First Avengers.
Right.
Johnny Walker is the first guy that they're like, all the brass wants. But the scientist from Germany, the Jewish scientist from Germany is like,
Schmidt.
No, that's
not
the
Schmidt.
guy.
Schmidt was the Red Skull.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
The co-star, the support guy in The Devil Wears Prada.
Yes. Stanley Tucci.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, such a punchable face. Again, we went in.
I hope so. I really hope it's like nonstop, just like speed bagged throughout the entire series.
Well, we went into this in the pre-show, which you can go back and watch it. A lot of the stuff that we talked about suddenly came out in articles that week, which was really fun.
It was so funny to read
We're
about
like,
that.
Hey, we talked about that. Hey, we talked about that. But I did talk about how actually on Twitter that this actor who was in Goon, Last of the Enforcers, plays a bad guy in that. And he's like, I really love it when I get to play a complicated and empathetic villain. And I'm like, wow, if everybody hates you right off the bat and you're going to turn that character into empathetic, I'm so excited. I'm so excited that like we might actually empathize with Johnny Walker, and that might be part of the twist of this show compared to what we know from the comics. I also hope that the Flag Smashers are not what we think they are on surface. I know Zemo is going to be kind of what he is, because he's already
Zemo.
Yeah.
But it seems also that Zemo's not really tied to the Flag Smashers. Right? Those masks did not seem like the purple.
I mean, I don't know. Like, we don't know. We have so much we don't know.
I'm much more excited now as a result of that.
And also, like, we saw. I
wonder if Zemo's really just there as a commercial, confusing piece.
It's like the Mandarin.
It's a mislead, yeah.
Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
Maybe.
That would be interesting. That would be really cool.
It just gives Carly Morgenthau higher billing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I did want to say, like, I do think I hope that what he really loved in Goon, The Last of the Enforcers, comes out in this character, just because everybody hates him so much right off the bat. Like, he just has that face and you're like, I want to punch him, and it's not good. I do find it interesting that the stuff that we've seen in the trailer isn't in the first episode at all. Like, we saw very little stuff from the first trailer. So is that kind of throughout the whole season? It definitely seems like it's Sam's house that Bucky and him are practicing with the shield. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, the shield is not currently in his possession. So I'm like, how many episodes is that until that shield moment?
They're just going to take it from him right away.
I honestly, Bucky could just do it with the one arm tied behind his back.
Ooh, the lucky cat arm?
Not the lucky cat arm. The one that, he could use the big
That's
strong
the
arm.
lucky cat arm.
I know, he could use the big strong arm.
He gets to use that one.
Yeah,
well, I wonder as well, is Johnny Walker going to be some sort of super soldier? And I know a lot of people are like, how are they going to tie the mutants in? There are very clear delineations between experimented upon people and mutants.
And that's always been the case.
They try very hard not to cross those lines, except for New York heroes. So Spider-Man oftentimes ends up in stuff with the X-Men and whatnot, ends up dating X-Men, but they try to keep Spider-Man's bad guys are all people who've undergone similar things that he has. They're not mutants. And mutants stay in the X-Men thing.
They're either they have technology, or they've made themselves superheroes or supervillains, or they've been experimented on themselves.
Accidents have happened in some sort of laboratory scenario. And so we've got Captain America, and these are superheroes that are built in from the military.
Is super soldier serum type stuff. We probably will get get that sort of vibe.
That's I mean, we're not getting that from there. Then you're not telling that sort of story, are you? You're telling a different story. And so you're not going to get the mutants. There's not going to be mutant pieces brought into this, because it's going to take away from this sort of Captain America origin story, and how you can give this one guy superhero serum.
Yeah.
You can give another guy the exact same serum, and this guy becomes a villain and this guy becomes a hero.
That's the story that they're telling.
That's the story that you want to tell, because your villains need to be reflected in your heroes because they've made bad choices.
Yeah. I really don't know what we're going to get from the show. Like, I'm excited about that, because it's like, it felt like WandaVision. We had, although we kind of knew how it was going to go and we got a vibe for it. They're definitely going to deal with the particular issues that they have laid the groundwork for in the first episode, being Sam does not feel worthy of being Captain America or being the hero that is the symbol for the world and America. And Bucky himself does not feel worthy to exist. So they're going to deal with both of those things, and it's going to be really wonderful. I really do think I am looking forward to them expanding and getting together, because I think that they're better as a duo. And they play each other off, and they kind of worked through all the weirdness of the world, I hope, in this episode too. All in all, I really did enjoy, especially the characterization and what the characters went through with this episode. I just, it's the universe itself is complicated, and it's hard that it's so complicated, and it has so many things that they absolutely cannot deal with and dig into the shows, because there isn't time and also interest, and also it just opens up more questions the more you dig into it, i.e. you fall into the rabbit hole.
And there are really no vines or ledges to grasp onto. I'm looking forward to the action set pieces, and I'm hoping I don't have to shut my brain off to enjoy them going forward. But a lot of this that I'm interested in has to do with that personal internal journey that both Bucky and Sam are on and seem to be going through. And I really hope that is the prominent piece of the story, and not the movement of Marvel timeline story. I want them to go through a personal character story, as opposed to getting to watch Jack Bauer go and save the day against some terrorists. Because I've seen all of those TV shows, and it's so much better done when there's the personal journey is really the focal point. So as long as that's still the case, I'll still be here week in, week out, wanting to sit down and talk to you about it. And I got a real feel for that today, because it's all initial set piece stuff. And the storyline we got with Sam, while frustrating from a foundational standpoint, at least sets precedent for what his story is going to be like. The storyline for Bucky, completely rooted and very strong foundationally, and then also got that personal lens, left me feeling very empathetic and hopeful towards this character.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if you're at this point being like, Winter Soldier still deserves to be in jail, go watch a different show, because you're just not going to get that in this, because redemption and restitution too, like, that's so important, and it's just really nice to actually see it involved in the show. I'm wondering how they're going to get together. That's my next, how do they get together? Because they can't possibly spend another episode apart. Yeah. So my guess is it's something to do with something happens and suddenly he's like, I've got to bring Bucky into this, or Bucky's like, I've got to ask Sam. Well,
in
about
the comics, Bucky is in the graphic novel where the two are brought together that came out in the fall, which may have some connection here, that they meet up because they're both investigating something, and Bucky shows up and a whole bunch of people have been killed, and Sam shows up to check in on somebody and finds them all dead, and Bucky's there, and he's like, oh my god, there's all these people, and he looks at Bucky and he says, did you? And Sam's like, and Bucky's like, of course not. And I kind of feel like that would be a way that they'll bring them both together, is that in this instance, though, I think Bucky will be pursuing something personal, and Sam will be called in to check on something.
Yeah.
And then that's how we're going to get the two of them together. How they end up in counseling together, though, I can't wait to find out.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to be like a condition of him being an active agent or being activated to be part of this whole thing, is that they have to be in couples counseling together. And I just love it so much.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I really did enjoy this episode. I just, again, the world itself has become very sticky and complicated. And so like that, we're just calling that stuff out.
But yeah, I can't wait. Next week. Yes. Until next week, we bid you adieu. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, same time, same channel next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, find time to quaff a tiger and play some Battleship.
Enjoy the simple times. Yes, exactly. And if people want to find you and find what you're doing on the internet,
that would be great.
You can follow him at Tavern Tales DM. We have another podcast together where we actually play D&D, and we're playing through the Tales of the Yawning Portal campaign,
Dungeons and Dragons
campaign module together. So if you're not sick of my voice or Kyle's, he's an exceptional DM. And we also have a junior version with our 2 kids and their friends where you DM them through that. And if you're interested in following What the Fiction on Twitter, it is WT Force Media on Twitter. And that's where I post all sorts of stuff about the shows that we're currently talking about.
This show, not sponsored by Tiger Beer.
No, but we drank it. So there you go. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Cheers.